Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. What a dynamic show we are going to have for you today, because with me is a very prolific actor. What an icon he is. He's a veteran actor, comedian, dancer extraordinaire. You are going to love the show today because we are going to definitely have a lot of fun. I can't even begin to tell you how much. Not only is all of these things what I've told you just in a nutshell, let's go into a little bit of a detail, because really that's where it's at. Let's start way back. He goes back to having, been a professional dancer in movies with Lucille Ball, to musicals like Hello Dolly, The Music Man, and he has done some acting roles too, things that you may be a little bit more familiar with if you're kind of more modern, such as Bob Newhart, Family Ties, The Lou Grant Show, Airwolf, Mad TV, Evening at the Improv, Family Ties, and there's even more things like Norm Crosby's Comedy Shop. Let's see, what else can I tell you? There's so many things about my guest that I want to tell you, but there's even some animation that I want to share, but it's not going to come from me. It's going to come straight from him. But let's talk a little bit more about some current things that are happening, because I will tell you, not only going from all of those things over a long period of media and entertainment, there's some current things happening in his acting career, and they're going to be things that are going to keep you on the edge of your laughing seat. Yes, it is. In fact, if you're familiar with Jerry Seinfeld, boy, has he got something that's going on now. Letters from a Nut, which is going to be coming out here shortly, and even another one with that, and he's going to be telling you a little bit more in detail. But this prolific actor and icon, I'd like to bring him on the show now. Welcome, oh my goodness, welcome to the show, Sam Kwasman. Thank you for being here.
How are you? Am I allowed to speak? Hello.
Yes. There's just so much to share about you. I can't even begin to go into all the details, but I'm so glad you're here, and I am just happy to share with just the little bit of information that I have already done with the audience so far. So, yes.
Well, thank you. I'm blushing already, and it's a pleasure to be on your show, and I'm thrilled to be here. I'm currently working on a play called Letters from a Nut, a new one that we'll be doing May 10th, 11th, and 12th in Irvine at the Improv with Patrick Warburton and Maggie Egan Cummings, and that will be out, produced by Jerry Seinfeld, and we'll be doing that as a play first, and then eventually we'll film it. And the other one, Letters from a Nut, we did at the Geffen Theater last year, and we filmed it, and it'll be out April 9th, produced by Jerry Seinfeld. It'll be out April 9th on Amazon Prime, and all over the world. It'll be streaming all over the world on the internet. So
I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, it's a very funny play.
Tell the audience a little bit about Letters from a Nut, because I don't know, but some people might think, what are they talking about, Letters from a Nut? Or, what is the whole nut job kind of thing?
Well, it's based on the books Letters from a Nut, written by Ted L. Nancy. And the actual author, Barry Martyr, Ted L. Nancy, is Ted L. Nancy on stage in the first one. That'll be out April 9th. And it's these crazy letters that they write to corporations, and the corporations don't know if they're crazy, these people, or the company's testing them. And so they'll write a letter to, like, let's say to the city of Glendale. And they ask for a permit for a brand new comedy club called Jesticles. And they don't know what this guy's kidding or not. And they write back and go, well, we don't have an address, and we don't know what you're talking about. And please send us more information. And then they go back and forth with 10, 12 letters. It's hilarious. Or they'll do something like, there used to be a chicken place called Kookaroo Chicken out here in LA. and he sees an open rental place, office next to Kookaroo. And he says, I want to open up my new store. It's called I Am a Walrus. So it'll read, I am a walrus, Kookaroo, and they write back, who are you,
Oh, this is fantastic. I love it.
Yes, it's very funny. Very funny. And like I said, there's like 3, 4, 5, 6 books based on these crazy letters about, going to these corporations. And so I'm lucky to be in it. And I got to thank Barry for that, and Jerry and all that. And it's great to be in that. And the new one we're working on now with Patrick Warburton from Seinfeld. He played Putty. That was Julia Louis-Dreyfus's boyfriend on that. And he's the lead in that one. And so that'll be a lot of fun.
That is going to be a lot of fun. And with the one the Letters from the Nut that's hitting on Amazon Prime, for those who don't know, Amazon Prime is really taking off. And there is a lot of very famous and influential actors and actresses that are doing a lot now in film that are hitting Amazon Prime. You're one of them.
Good. Oh yeah. Well, I have a lot of faith in this one. It stars Barry Marder and Beth Kennedy, who does 20 different characters in this. She's phenomenal in it. And then me. And then I'm in it. And it's funny. It's a very funny play. And I'm glad they filmed it as a play. So we'll see what happens with it. And I'm working on that, and I'm also working on Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Talk to me about this, because I did not want to do the lead-in for you on this. Okay. This is yours in the animation department. Yes, tell me a little bit about Tom and Jerry.
Well, Tom and Jerry's in their sixth season, and they play all over the world. And I play a little baby duck called Little Quacker, and he sounds like this.
Oh, you're a mama. I got a mama. Oh, boy.
He's a little innocent duck. And I got the job because I once did the voice of Donald Duck at Disney, and the animation supervisor for the Fox and the Hound, I walked into the animation department way long time ago and did Donald Duck for them. And then 25 years later, Daryl Van Sitters calls me up and goes, hey, you still do a good duck? And I go, yeah, who are you? He goes, well, I worked at Disney when you did Donald Duck, and I want you to do this little character. And of course, I had to still audition with everybody else, and they went through 3,000 voice actors, and I got the job. So I was very happy with that. So
this is exciting. That's so much fun.
Yeah, and he's a cute little duck.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh boy. Oh.
He's always sad. He's always,
Oh, I almost wrecked. I got a dagger.
Nobody understands him, but it's fun to do.
So when you're in character in animation, does that take a lot of work vocally to do? And
he's a very tough artificial voice.
Okay.
He's not something you would do at your throat. And yeah, you do it out of here. My little secret. Now everybody will do Donald Duck and Little Quacker.
No, because I think even those of us who want to try really hard, I don't think they can get it.
Well, it's very difficult to be able to speak. I did Robot Chicken with Mickey and Donald at a bar picking up chicks. And everybody knows about Robot Chicken, Seth Green, and it's very funny. It's 30 seconds long. It's hilarious. And I really love doing that. But I started as a dancer many years ago. My first job, I was an artist, a flippin' artist, I wanted to be a song and dance man, and I learned to dance and sing and act in musicals. And my first job was Disney on Parade, which was choreographed by Anna White, who had just won the Academy Award 2 years earlier for Oliver. She also choreographed Music Man, Bye Bye Birdie. And, you're 19 years old, and here's this icon, this legend. And they don't give out Oscars to choreographers. There were only 2 that ever got one. That was Jerome Robbins for West Side Story and Anna White for Oliver. So here I am dancing for probably the biggest choreographer at the time. And we're in rehearsal, and I wind up, it's Disney on Parade, which you see today is Disney on Ice.
Right,
We ran. We called ourselves Holiday on Ice.
You didn't glide back then. You had to run.
We gotta run.
Yes.
And I was the lead alligator in Fantasia. And there was another guy in the company named Patrick Swayze, and it was our first dance company together. And he was quite a guy. He was Prince Charming, and I was the lead alligator. And I'm going, gee, I wonder how you got that job. But he was a good-looking guy and a sweet guy.
Oh gosh, I mean, what an amazing opportunity that was.
Yeah, it really was. And I became the voice of Donald Duck for the show, and I did it live, 10 to 14 shows a week. And I perfected the voice, and I did What's My Line, and I did radio shows to promote that show. But the original voice was Ducky Nash, Clarence Ducky Nash, and he was the Duck. And, he couldn't, I'm on the road with this show. I don't think Clarence at that time, who was about 70, would have wanted to do that. But he really is the voice of Donald Duck, the official voice as far as I'm concerned. And then here I am doing Little Quacker, 25 years after that. And it's been a real pleasure to do. I hear they're going to do a major motion picture of Tom and Jerry.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be in it, but...
I was just going to say, so...
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yes. You absolutely are a must for that.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But Letters from a Nut was good, and I wound up dancing in movies like Mame, and Lucy would tell me stories.
I was just going there because there is no way I could get away from not talking about Lucille Ball and if your experiences with her, because she is another legendary woman in the entertainment.
Oh God, she was very serious woman. She was very serious, but you could talk to her. When I have pictures with her, and I would ask her, I was a kid, I was 23, and I say to her, I like the Three Stooges. And she goes, oh, the Three Stooges, bad props, they almost killed me. And then she would tell me a story about how she worked on the Three Stooges movie, one of the episodes. Oh. And that, she was powdering her face with this very fine powder in front of a fan, and Larry Fine turns on the fan, and the powder goes in her face, and she goes, and breathes in the powder, and it goes in her eyes, up her nostrils, in her mouth, in her throat, and she can't breathe. And she told me she was in the hospital for 3 days, and every time she blinked, it was like sandpaper. She thought she was going to die. All these stories she told me. There was one story I love that she says, and if I hadn't heard it from her, I would never have repeated it.
Oh, no.
You won't believe this. She had a filling in her tooth, and this is World War II. And she's driving MGM Studios. Have you heard this?
No.
She has this filling, and they don't use the regular filling. They use some other substance. And on the way to MGM, she hears German in her tooth.
No.
And it gets louder and louder as she gets to MGM. So she calls the FBI and says, I swear to God, I'm hearing German Nazis in my tooth.
Oh, no.
So they drove around, and they found a nest of Nazi spies spying on MGM Studios. That's her story. I swear.
Is this for real?
That's for real. She told it to me. If she hadn't told it to me, I wouldn't have believed it. But she was so serious about it, and she said, I found these guys with my tooth. It was great. And I believed her. What was not to believe,
Sure. I mean,
right from her.
Well, I mean, who knows what people would do to get, I bet you have seen, all right, and I'm gonna share a little something about myself in a minute, Condolis, but I bet you've seen a lot of people try to make it in the movie business. I myself have done a little thing, and something that not too many people know about me. I, at one time, I auditioned for a Lucille Ball part at one time.
Oh, wow.
Way back in the 90s.
Fantastic.
Didn't make it, but it was quite an experience, and I did learn a lot, and I did see something that I never thought I would see. I did not expect this whatsoever by going to this audition, but I never realized how many people, women, across America actually have a resemblance to her, and I mean very, very pronounced resemblance.
Oh, wow. Oh, whoops.
I mean, and it was kind of a cattle call audition. I mean, there was just lines and lines of people there. It was amazing. But that's an interesting story, and I'm sure that you have seen your share of people trying to infiltrate getting into the movie business or getting secrets somehow. I'm sure.
There's no formula. It's just, I don't know, sometimes it's you're at the right place at the right time, or you just, I don't know, I call it getting a little lucky. There has to be a door that opens or a window or something that opens. It's difficult. It's a difficult, and there are some people who just walk in and have, very little talent, don't do much, and they're on a series for 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you, I mean, out of all of the things that you've done in your career in the entertainment, from dancing to acting to quacking to to all of the things that you've done, have you taken a liking to anything really specific?
Well, I think it's the love of performance. I just love to perform, and I don't care if it's a play, a musical. I do stand-up comedy. I work at the Laugh Factory in Vegas. I do that at the Tropicana. I just got back about a couple of weeks ago. I did stand-up there. So it's all about the love of performance, the love of theater. That's my passion. Yeah. And I work so hard to be in it, and I was willing to do just about everything. I mean, I played a ventriloquist on Bob Newhart. Go figure.
Okay. And so you have to share with the audience so the ratings from the Bob Newhart show.
Oh, yeah.
Were astronomical when you were there. You cannot let this go.
Well, it was weird. I only did one episode, and I was going to be a semi-regular on the series, but Bob quit that year. Of course, like I said, you need a little luck. And but the episode I did, I played a ventriloquist he believed his dummy was real, and it was time to let him go out as a star. He's a big star, and he should go out on his own, the dummy. And Bob has to put me in therapy or something, like, he needs to talk to me. And it's a very funny episode. You can see it on my website. And years later, the Wall Street Journal rated all the top 10, episodes of every season. And it got to my season. I was number 2 for my performance with Bob, obviously. Bob's an excellent actor. I met his energy, as an actor, you want to, be on the par with him. And just his timing is impeccable. He's just got it down, and he's wonderful to work with, and just a really nice guy. He is really what you see on television, what he is in real life. I mean, he was just so nice, just a sweet guy. And everybody on the show was great. I remember Suzanne Plachette. We were talking about something backstage, and I said to her, good luck. And she said, oh, yeah. And she gave me a kiss. And I said to her, I have a girlfriend. And she goes, oh, well, I have a husband. Don't worry about it. So what? I have a husband, She was beautiful, just gorgeous.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
And Peter Bonner's. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure that you have seen some of the most amazing things and had some of the most memorable experiences that people would just give anything to have.
I guess. I mean, I just got a little lucky here and there. And the guy who wrote my episode of Bob Newhart was an executive producer on Family Ties. And I ran into him at Paramount Studios when I was working on another show. And he asked me to come over, and you got to meet everybody. And he wanted to put me in Family Ties. And that's how I got that. Mm-hmm. And Michael Fox was phenomenal. He just really a down-to-earth guy, no ego. It was all about the work. And I got to work with Meredith Baxter, Bernie, and Michael Gross. Those guys were great just fantastic, And she's gorgeous in person. Oh my God. And she was so sweet. She was just so nice. So that was a wonderful episode too. I had a great time with that.
Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It just seems like the opportunities that you have had have brought about such, I mean, it has brought out such an awesomeness for you, but you've had wholesome people. The wholesomeness has been incredible. And it hasn't been pretentious in a lot of ways. It's just, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that you have seen, but just the shows that you have been on and that the people that you have met have been really, they sound so genuine. And it's been, that's really refreshing to hear, especially when you're in the scene.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the really good guys, the really successful people, like, well, the ones I know, Ed Asner, I've known for 40 years. And I told him one day I finished a show, and he said to me, I said to him, I always do comedy. I never get to do anything dramatic. He goes, oh, you want to play a jerk? On Luke Grant. I go, okay. So he made me go on as a jerk. I was a jerk pharmacist who gave half the pills and charged twice the price on a Lou Grant episode. And he brought me in. He said, okay, here, comedy's hard, drama's easy. Go.
Mm. That's a good point, though. Comedy is kind of difficult to do.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult. I wouldn't say drama's easy, but it's a different feeling. Definitely.
Yeah, and the delivery, right? The delivery really needs to be the tone, the inflection, intonation. Everything has to be really delivered in a specific manner to get it out the way you want it to get out to the audience. Right,
what you want them to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And comedy is just a different kind of timing, and they're very close, But I wouldn't say it's easy, but he was kidding around. He only won 7 Emmys,
Only.
So, only.
Yeah. He's only won 7 Emmys. I mean,
I would every time he'd win an Emmy, I'd write to him and say, what? There are no other actors? What's wrong? What is this? What's wrong with you? And he goes, yeah, you're right.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, Sam, this is fantastic. I am really excited about what you have getting ready to come out, both here in April and May, back-to-back months worth of just blasts from Letters from a Nut.
Yeah, Letters from a Nut. Yeah,
Letters from a Nut, back-to-back, Amazon Prime, and then here at the Improv, right? Improv?
Yeah, Improv at Irvine. And that'll be new Letters from a Nut with Patrick Warburton and Maggie Cummings. And the Amazon Prime will be Letters from a Nut with Ted L. Nancy himself, Barry Martyr, and Beth Kennedy, who does 1 million characters, and she's brilliant, just brilliant. And me, I'm in it. So there's 3 of us, and it's very funny.
This is what we're talking about today is you. So I'm really excited to share that with our audience today, that you have this coming out and that they need to be looking for you.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, boy.
And thank you so much for being with us today. I'd like you to also share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more information, all of those things.
Sure. I'm at www.samk3000.com. SAMKAY3000.com. SamK3000.com.
I love it.
Okay. You can look at all my videos and television shows. It's great. And what a pleasure to talk to you. You're wonderful.
Oh, thank you. And I feel the same.
Oh.
And for all of you, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We ask that you share this with your friends, your family, coworkers, and everybody else on social media. You're definitely wanting to, I'm going to put it in the ballpark for you. You're wanting to see what's getting ready to come out in April and in May. Got to check it out.
Bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye.